What's that? Let me go listen to that. That's totally the
Take on the world. We're gonna take on the world. Standing tall, we gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners will never look down. No one can stop us, we got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We gonna take on the world. Yeah, we gotta move. Speaking the truth. Yeah, paying our dues. We making the news. Yeah, we hitting the roof. No, we don't wanna lose. Climbing and shaking the walls. We gotta break all the rules.
Oh, there it is. Shut up. There we go. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Welcome to the Third Eye Truth Theorem Podcast. I am your host, James Gill, my co-host, Joe Hill. We have a very special guest tonight, right from St. Joe, business owner in St. Joe, Zaq Weaver. He is the owner of Conception Gallery Tattoo Emporium?
Tattoo Gallery.
Gallery?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Conception Gallery, custom tattoos and fine art gallery.
That's pretty cool.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here.
No problem. I was excited to hear when Joe told me you were going to be in. And I was like, man, I go there all the time to get tattoos.
Yeah, I was really he asked me to be on the podcast. I'm like, oh, sweet. He's like, it's with James Gill. I'm like, oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is going to be cool. I go there all the time, and I'm trying to get a sleeve done. And, dude, you got some good guys down there working for you.
I have a really good crew down there. It's been very fortunate because in the industry we're in, it's not always that case. I mean, there's some sketchy people in our industry, and I'm very, very fortunate that I've built a good crew for years. TJ, the guy that tattoos you, he's been with me the whole ride, 14 years.
14 years.
You've been there for 14 years?
Been there 14 years, January of 2010. Yeah.
Very nice. What got you into tattooing? When
When
did you start?
What story you want?
I want the good one.
All right. So the truthful story, the long version is my parents got divorced before I have any memory of them ever being together. Probably year and a half.
No, keep going.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half, 2 years old, got divorced. I have no memory of my parents being together.
Got it.
At that point, my mom was kind of single mom. My dad was around, but he worked on the road a lot. Never really saw my dad. My mom took me everywhere. So she took me when she got her first tattoo. I was maybe 6 years old. Mind you, this is a different world. This isn't the world today. This is 80s world, you know? So 6 years old, took me to a tattoo parlor, bikers, guys playing heads, shaved heads tattooed. They had a pool table in there. I played pool with some guy for an hour. My mom got tattooed, and I just thought it was absolutely the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So from 6 years old, I was like, that's what I want to do. And I grew up in an artistic family. My grandmother's taught painting lessons for probably 60 years. I mean, she's always taught art. So I grew up wanting to do that. And I always drew. And then I got into high school, and that's not exactly what the guidance counselors tell you is appropriate career path, especially at our age, right? Like now, believe it or not, I actually have teachers sending me kids to come like job shadow. But at the time we were in school, it's not that way, right? So teachers telling me, you need a real job. This is for druggies and bikers, and this isn't, this isn't a career path.
Back then it was terrible. I mean, shit. I mean, people think, oh, tattoos, you're into drugs. Tattoos, you're
absolutely
into some heavy shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So I started working at a place called Heathkit Educational Systems. They're actually here in town. It used to be Heathkit Zenith. They've been around for years and years and years. I worked for Heathkit for a couple of years, and then I started getting tattooed, and it kind of brought back that desire to tattoo. And I started hanging out at shops, and at some point I was kind of hanging out at a shop here locally. They haven't been around for a long time, but hanging out at a shop here locally. And I would sit with the guy. It was one other artist there. It wasn't the big shop in town that everybody knows. It was a different one, but not to name names.
Yeah.
But we would look through tattoo magazines because that's all there was at that point, right? Like today, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there wasn't any of that, right? So the only thing you saw was tattoo magazines, and we would look through and talk about tattoos. And on the side of each tattoo would be like the artist name, shop, and location. And I found a tattoo that I really liked, and I was like, oh shit, this dude's in South Bend. His name's Todd Melson. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get fucking tattooed by this guy. And I went down and I took a drawing with me. Didn't really think it's just who I am, right? Like took a drawing with me, and I was like, got tattooed, and I was like picking his mind. I'm like, hey, look at this drawing. And he like gave me some pointers, gave me some critiques. And I went home, and just who I am, I'd redrew it. And then I took it back. Like 2 days later, I took it back down there. And I was like, okay, now what? And he did it again. And I literally did that for about 2 weeks straight. And then at some point he goes, you want to learn how to tattoo? Yeah. He goes, you start on Tuesday. Bring somebody with you. You're tattooing Tuesday.
Now, when you got that news, how excited were you?
Oh, pumped.
Yeah.
Pumped. Yeah. I mean, it was absolutely, it was something I always wanted to do, but you don't know how to get into it, right? And you can bother people all you want, but until someone really like steps up and offers it to you, you never know. But that's probably one of like a defining moment in my life for sure.
Now the guy that hired, is he still around?
He still is, still owns Marvel Tattoo in South Bend.
Wow, I know Marvel.
Yeah, they've been open.
Shout out Marvel.
Yeah, shout out Marvel. They've been open probably 20 something years. I mean, I say that I know they've been open that long because I've tattooed 19.
Yeah.
And I've been here 14. So
actually, my daughter didn't get a tattoo there. She got her piercing there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, they do piercing.
They do great stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a bad place. So, what was your first tattoo?
On me or that I did?
On you.
On me, I have a piece of tribal on the side of my leg that I drew when I was in high school that I had someone tattoo on me.
So did you go to a place, or it was a friend that just
No, I went to a place. I went to they're not around anymore. It's the Niles Tattoo Emporium. They were around for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, the shop is still there. It's changed owners and changed names, but it was the Niles Tattoo. It was at that time, it was one of the few places you could go get tattooed.
Definitely. I got a few tattoos there myself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't have any.
No.
You don't have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos.
I'll make you a deal. I'll let James tattoo you.
Oh boy, I could
Come
enjoy
on.
that.
This will be awesome.
I'll draw a smiley face. Weird eyes.
I always said that my first tattoo is probably by you or somebody in your shop.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
I have to.
That means a lot. It really does mean a lot.
I
There's
said that to
something
you
about
when it first opened up. So
There's something about the pain that's involved. I don't know. Just for me, when I go there, I expect to get a rush from the pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has been the worst? I mean, for a person that's getting a tattoo, the ones scoring the worst. You don't remember any of these people?
Oh, I had a guy
Pass out or
people pass. So let me just we'll fix that that thing right now. People pass out all the time. That's not uncommon. It's not from the pain, actually.
I believe it.
So what it is I'm gonna get weird on you. At the beginning of a tattoo, your body creates endorphins, which is your natural painkiller, and it uses your body's blood sugar, and your blood sugar drops quickly before your body can start creating more blood sugar, and people pass out. So when you hear people pass out, that's what's happening. It's not pain. I don't think I've ever had anybody pass out because of the quote unquote pain. Now, with that being said, I've had some people that were awful. I had a guy that I've never stopped a tattoo. I've only stopped one tattoo in my entire career. And it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. It was pre-COVID, so 4 years ago. Yeah. I stopped the tattoo on a guy because he was moving around so bad that I was afraid I was going to hit myself. Like, I mean, that's how bad he was jumping. To the point, he was squirming. He was laying on his back and like had his feet on the table and like kicking himself up. I was like, I don't even know what the hell you're doing, dude.
Where was he getting tattooed at?
He was getting like an armband, which really aren't that bad. Like, it's not that bad. Yeah. And he even warned me. This is the fucked up part. Looking back, before I started tattooing him that day, he said something along the lines of like, yeah, every time I get tattooed, I have to find a new tattoo artist. And I was like, oh, I'll be here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. That's, that's weird. And by the time I was done, I was like, get it. Yeah, I wouldn't tattoo you again. Like, please don't come back.
He said, like, get it. Okay, yeah, I understand. Shit.
Yeah, I definitely understand now.
Would you tattoo him again?
Hell no. Hell no.
Now you know why he gets new tattoos. I do want to do it. No, hell no.
Man,
Give him a chance.
I hate to say this to sound like a snob, but when it comes to this, like, not everybody's money is created equal. I've learned that in my 19 years of tattooing. Yeah. Not everybody's money is created equal.
My dad says the same thing.
Right. So, I mean, I understand you need to make a wage, you need to make a living.
Yeah.
But like somebody's $50 compared to your $50 is not the same. Right.
Right.
Like, and it's a hard lesson to learn sometimes, but it's just, you have to understand at some point that not everybody's money is the same. That's a rough concept too. It's a kind of a shitty concept, really, because you just want to provide a service.
See, I don't think it is, because my dad says the same thing. He picks and chooses his people that he might want to go service and stuff like that. But he says, I would only do it for somebody, but I won't do it for these people here because they can afford it. They can go do somewhere else. Why should I let someone give them a deal when they can afford it?
Yeah. Mine's not even affordability. Mine is just strictly like in the sense of James comes in and gets tattooed, sits there, we joke, we have a great time. He sits like a rock, no problem, right? Takes me an hour to tattoo him. I get an hour's worth of wage. Joe, you come in and get tattooed. You squirm like an ass, right?
I might.
Well,
I think you will.
hypothetically, you squirm around.
I'll scream.
You squirm around.
Sweat like a pig, though. I tell you that much.
You're making noises. You're flustering people in the shop.
Oh, I won't do that, though.
Right?
Yeah, I understand.
It takes me an hour to tattoo you, but I have spent so much extra energy dealing with you that it's going to be harder for me to deal with the next person.
I understand that. I do. I respect that. Like, I do.
That doesn't mean I won't tattoo them, but there's definitely like you have to have an understanding of there are days that are going to be rougher.
Oh yeah. So the only thing I have about your tattooing thing is, besides it's an awesome shop, and I am shocked that you got a tattoo parlor inside St. Joe, Michigan,
right downtown.
Right downtown, where people are kind of, hate to say it, it's a little bit.
Well, there was one before. There was one right next to
it's right around the corner where Cabanas was.
Yeah, but they didn't last. He's lasted longer than most of them.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's still downtown St. Joe, where people are kind of hoity-toity a little bit and kind of.
Yeah, how hard was that to get?
It has to be
was
hard.
it hard to get in that spot?
Truthfully, I got extremely lucky.
Yeah,
I got extremely lucky. At the time that we got in there, the Elks still had the building, and one of my really good friends was dating the Elks' son. Like the Elks' chairman of the board, his son.
That's cool.
So I had a little bit of like an in to get there. I still had to prove myself, and I still had to go a lot. But as far as like getting somebody to rent to me, that I was, it was easier to prove myself to somebody that wanted to listen. Right. If someone's closed-minded, they're not going to want to listen.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be tough.
Yeah. And it was tough. And, luckily I feel like we've proven ourselves pretty well to the city. I think I want to say we were open maybe a year and a half, and I won't say her name, but she worked for the city, very higher up in the city. She worked under Frank Walsh. We can probably get there, but she came in about a year and a half after I was open and apologized to me. Even though I never talked to the woman before in my life, she came into the studio and she said, I just want to tell you, I'm sorry, and I'm happy you're not what we thought you were going to be.
See, that's respect.
It was.
That's
it was
awesome.
very nice, but it was
a stereotype that goes over your head as a tattoo artist being in this town is tourist. Very I don't know, high class, if you can say that.
High society.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing.
Shitting high cotton.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Something's wrong with you.
See, made you guys laugh. Hey, how you doing?
But as far as that goes, it would be hard. It would be just like trying to get a weed dispensary.
Absolutely.
It will never happen.
As far as that goes, once you got your foot in the door, you were in. It was clear sailing. I could tell. Was it hard to get people to get in, or?
Luckily, we opened at a very good time. There wasn't a ton of tattoo studios. I think at the time there was only one other tattoo studio in town. They had some not great business practices, so they were staying really busy because they were the only shop in town. And then when we opened, it kind of forced, I don't want to say it forced people to us, but it definitely helped drive some people to us, that they weren't doing things quite on the up and up as they should have been.
Quality shit.
Which helped us. I had a pretty good name going for myself at that point. So luckily I was from here, and then didn't tattoo here. And I had a lot of people that knew me that were always like, oh, I want to get tattooed by you, but I don't want to drive all the way down there.
Right.
So then when I came, I already kind of had a built-in clientele.
Following,
Yeah.
And got, fortunate as far as that goes, and kind of just built off of that.
So go off this whole tattoo stuff.
Don't go there. Don't go there yet.
Oh no, I just have a question. What?
I got some more questions about the tattoos.
Oh, I do too.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh no, my tattoo question is.
No, my dick is not tattooed.
Oh no, damn! I wasn't hearing that at all. Shit, that's awesome.
Joe, you had that on your mind.
No, if it did, it would be a measuring stick. But no, with all the ink master and all that shit that's out there, do you think that helped tattoo people that have their own parlor or their own tattoo company?
I think it's twofold. It's a double-edged knife. I think it really helped our industry when that started, but it's also really hurt our industry because it's so open that everybody thinks they can do it now.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
I mean, it
I
has made it mainstream. People want to come out and get tattooed. People that weren't getting tattooed before are seeing that it's acceptable. So I mean, it's 100%. I mean, helped the industry a ton, but at the same point, it's also helped every Joe Schmo think that they can do what they see on TV now, and it's hard. People
just like podcasting. Everybody's everybody's doing it. I mean, I can do that. I can talk on the microphone.
Oh, absolutely.
And since I couldn't never tattoo somebody because I know I don't have a steady hand.
It's hard. What people don't understand is tattooing takes a long time to get good at it, and when I say a long time, I mean years.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to pick up a tattoo machine and 6 months from now be amazing. Like it's going to take you 3 years before you start doing good tattoos. You might get a good one here and there. You might do a good one, but before every time you do a tattoo, it's a good tattoo. It's going to be 3 years down the road.
For me, watching those shows, because I do love tattoo artwork. I think the most amazing people are tattoo artists because they have the ability to do that and draw at the same time. I mean, it's phenomenal work. But my thing is watching that, finding out blown out lines or smearing it just a little bit, you could see that after a while. And then when they zoom up on the tattoo itself, oh, hell yeah. I mean, I can understand where it is shit work.
Yeah.
And you can tell. And I feel bad for anybody that does go on that show and see that shit. I mean, it's just, ugh.
Oh, it's sketchy. And I mean, you have to understand too, it is reality TV. Right. Now, I'm not saying the tattoos are very real and the critiques are very real, but they're also building a lot of drama on those shows for the sake of reality TV.
I'll give you that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've had multiple friends on the show.
Really?
And I kind of know a lot of the insights behind it. And it's a lot of drama.
Would you ever do it?
Would I, at this point in my career? No, I would not do it. It would only hurt.
I mean, back then, if
when it started out, I probably would have gave it a shot. But at this point in my career, I just don't think it would be the right move. And I have so many other interests and so many other things. I love tattooing. I want to continue to do the best that I can do. I got 2 little boys that mean the world to me that I want to see do things more than me worry about being on TV and trying to be a famous tattooer, which what comes with that is just craziness too. My good friend Kyle Dunbar took off. He was on, I think, 3 seasons of Ink Master. He was the first, he was on Ink Master, got voted back, I mean, but I've watched what they've gone through and I wouldn't want to do it. Like,
so you know Kyle? That's kind of cool. I watched that show.
Kyle's tattooed out of my shop.
Really?
Yeah, Kyle Dunbar. Yeah, he was here a couple years ago, tattooed out of my shop.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
I would just like to meet the guy.
Next time he's in town, I'll let you know. He's a very, very good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's won tons of awards. I've seen the awards, the accolades that you have in your shop. How many have you accumulated over the years?
I have no idea. I'm not a clue.
What's the biggest one then? I mean,
he's very humble.
The silliest, well, I'm gonna say silliest, but it's not, it's the one that means the most to me is probably the silliest looking award I have in there. There's one, if you look, it looks like a little tractor and it's only about this big.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So there was a convention in Des Moines, Iowa. So they were kind of making fun of themselves, but that was for tattoo of the day. So what they did is they judged every tattoo that was done that day at the convention and they awarded, quote unquote, the best tattoo of the day. And I know the people that I was up against that day. And I that was a big deal to me to get that. Bigger than any other award I have on any wall there, just because of the other quality of people that were there. So it was, it's not that I've won some stuff that you're like, yeah, I should have won that because you got Farmer Fred over here tattooing on the back of his pickup truck. You know what I mean? Like I could do better than that.
Right.
But you have other times where like the quality of artist was there is really what makes that trophy or that award so much to me.
Who's your biggest idol? Tattoo somebody to look up to as far as when you were coming up as a up and coming tattoo artist?
There is a tattooer. He is currently out of Austin, Texas, named Nick Baxter. Phenomenal tattooer. You guys have probably seen him, or listeners have probably seen him. He is the first tattooer that started doing pixels. Like when you started seeing like pixelated tattoos, Nick is the one that started doing that. He's the first person to do it. He is also one of the first generation of tattooers that were art minded. Right. There were guys doing tattoos that did artistic things. Nick is like an art school kid, like with an art school degree that got into tattooing. Didn't start tattooing because he thought it was cool. You know what I mean? Like the guy is a phenomenal painter. Would make a living being a painter. He's a phenomenal artist. Just
awesome.
And he is one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And every time I get to pick his brain, I do. I mean, such a cool guy, phenomenal tattooer. Look him up, Nick Baxter. It's fucking phenomenal. I can't even get over like the dude does stuff that I still don't. I've tattooed almost 20 years and I understand a lot of the theories. I've even talked to him. I've talked to him several times. I still don't understand how he does some of the stuff he does.
So what are you known for your tattoos? I mean, like what do they call it?
Style.
Yeah.
So my style that I'm most known for is I have like a hybrid style of new school, which is like the really cartoony, bright color stuff, but I also render it in a realistic fashion. So it's more like an illustrative style. It's not realism. It's not new school. It's kind of a weird bastardized hybrid in between. So it's things kind of drawn in a cartoony manner, but shaded in a realistic fashion. So they could be possibly real. Like that's fun to me.
I seen your work on when you post it and stuff like that on certain medias, and it's phenomenal work.
Thank you.
So I was just kind of when I see it, I'm thinking, wow, he does that. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of his work is
so it's all different types of scenario of style. So I was kind of wondering.
I try very hard to be a jack of all trades. Yeah. If someone comes to me, I want to be able to do the tattoo to the best of my abilities and do a good job at that tattoo. Right. So I try to do every style that I can do, I'm going to do. If I can't do it, I'm going to tell you that I can't do it. But for the most part, like I'm very upfront and I want to do the best that I can do. But if you were just to come to me and say, this is what I want, do it however you want, that's how it's going to be. It's like a color kind of weird, like that style, weird colors.
Is there any style or any form of tattooing that you are challenged by or you haven't touched yet?
The one that challenges me the most, truthfully, is traditional.
Oh, really?
Like the very like simple sailor tattoos. I can't do them. I cannot figure them out. I know that it's like lines. It's not straight. I can lay a straight line all day. That's no problem. It's the simplicity and the shading that I cannot figure out. Every time I do one, I'm like, it looks unfinished. Because in my head it's not, right? Like, but there's a theory behind like traditional tattoos. It's a third black, a third color, a third skin tone. Very simple. Yeah. And I try to do that. And every time I do it, I'm like, well, I just need to put the rest of the color in there. Like this looks unfinished. But then I can look at other people that do it and I'm like, that looks fucking phenomenal. Why doesn't mine look like, you know what I mean? And maybe it does, but in my head it doesn't.
See, I thought you were gonna say watercolor.
Dude, I love watercolor.
Do you really?
I love watercolor.
I don't know. I don't get into those tattoos. Can't figure them out, I guess. In my head, I'm thinking, it looks weird.
It's not for everybody, right?
Yeah,
but as far as like the artistic side, I love doing them because it's fun.
Yeah,
you're making a mess.
Fun.
You're making a controlled mess, right? That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You ever seen watercolors?
No, I don't think I have.
You haven't seen water? It's like so you do like a blue, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if they do it like this, but you like smear it so it looks like it goes away from the lines, like it's just smearing it out of the skin.
It's probably like the worst explanation of that in history.
Probably is. That's how I pictured it.
Just like his spelling.
Shut
I mean,
up.
you are not
out.
allowed to make any post on the Facebook anywhere.
Hey, you said you're going to do it and you never did it.
I did it at noon.
I did mine at 8
I spelled it perfectly. You spell like shit. You spell I wrong. How do you do that?
I took it off of your site once again.
No, you didn't.
I took it off the site. I took it off the site.
You're lying.
And once again,
I never spell I wrong.
Yes, you did.
You spell I-Y-E-Y.
That's what it said on your thing.
Oh, it did.
Yes, it did.
Whatever.
It seems like an all-fair conversation.
Holy
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
And I was like, come on, Joe. I mean,
took it
for
off.
20 minutes, I had
I know. And he
stop
kept on
spelling
saying,
shit wrong.
what is he talking about? I took it off his thing. I couldn't figure out what he's talking about.
Oh,
I even asked
Jesus.
the other people. I said, hey, does this look wrong?
Yeah, you're no longer in charge of posting
Oh, no,
anything.
I'm not going to stop
Anything.
people. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Do you have any other questions about tattooing, or can we go
One
on
more
something else?
question. Now, as far as tattooing females, is there been any weird spots that you had a tattoo?
You're going to ask that question?
Yeah, man. I've always wondered about that.
No, I mean, I've tattooed all over the place.
Yeah.
I've tattooed all over the place. There's nothing that crazy. And honestly, it's not even fun. I mean, like, I think you kind of get that, like, bro mentality. People ask me, like, oh, it must be cool to tattoo boobs. I'm like, no, boobs are fucking hard to tattoo. Like, and it sucks, right? Like,
it's loose.
yeah,
And it
that's
always
not it.
moves.
Mhm. So you have to
Yeah.
think, like, the skin, you have to have that elasticity for the needle to penetrate. And like, I don't care who you are. Like, like Joe said, that it just bounces. They're hard to tattoo. It's not fun. Like, I'm a guy just as much as any other guy. Love boobs, love butts, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place, and it ain't during tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because when people ask me about massage and they said, "Oh, you got to see women half naked all the
I
time,"
forget about that.
and
You did that.
and
Yeah.
I said, "Nah, dude, it sucked. You see all shapes and sizes and hang down low to the knees to the floor."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tattooing, it's got to be the same kind of concept for me. I mean, it moves and it's
well, and
loose.
on top of that, it's just you're in a different mindset too.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a professional mindset. I'm ready. I'm here to do a job. Like, I'm not. It's any other body part to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Could be your elbow. I don't care. Like, it's
Speaking
the
of
same
that,
thing.
That shit hurts.
Yeah, elbows
I
rough.
just did that
Are you-
yesterday.
Oh,
No, 2 days ago.
2
Yeah.
days ago, yeah.
That's
It's tough stuff.
yeah.
Not
Swelled
fun.
up like no other, man.
Yeah, not fun, buddy.
Holy crap.
Not fun.
Anyway, you
Shut your door.
not only doing tattoos, you're doing comedy, you do all kinds of stuff. Let's get into some of that.
Oh yeah,
What are you
I'm-
into these
I'm
days?
really curious about this. comedy shit.
My wife hates my hobbies because
TJ was telling me about this stuff. You do a lot of stuff.
I have like a one set mind.
Yeah.
And it's full speed ahead. Like, I have all or nothing tattooed on the side of my hands, and that's my life, right? I if I do something, if I deem it worth doing,
You're all in.
I'm doing
Full
it to
throttle.
the best of my ability,
That
whatever
shit's
it
all
is.
in.
So yeah, right now, for the last couple of years, I've been doing stand-up comedy. I absolutely love it. I see myself doing it definitely for this foreseeable future. I absolutely love it. But I've had a ton of, I mean, I actually got into competitive shooting,
Yeah,
and
I've heard about that.
and at one point, as weird as this sounds, was a professional
Yeah.
shooter. Like, I was a sponsored paid professional shooter. I traveled around the country
Wow,
doing
really? I
that.
didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I remember
Um,
you shooting. Yeah.
Dude, I just go and go. And the problem is I have no like off switch. So I got COVID is actually what stopped me from shooting. Again, COVID always fucks everything up. But I shot through the 2019 season. 5 years prior to that, I was a paid professional sponsored shooter. I shot heavily. I mean, trained 5 days a week, and then shot every weekend somewhere in the country. And then it got to the point where I realized that I was kind of fucking up my family. Like,
Traveling.
my wife is a saint for putting up with me. I will say it all the time.
Yeah.
She's probably should have divorced me 5 times by now, like, because I'm who I am. But at a certain point, like through the 2019 season, I realized that I was being really selfish, and realized that, like, as much as I love this and I'm doing this and doing well, this is not going to help my life. Like, this is going to hurt my life in the long run. Well, I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my wife because I can't control myself.
Keep going.
I know this is way off. I don't even know what's happening.
No, keep going.
This is way off the beaten path here, but I know that I have an addictive personality, right? So, like, I know that, like, I can't do drugs. I've been this way my entire life because I know that I have an addictive personality. We have addicts in my family that I know it. So, like, these stupid little hobbies that I end up doing are my drugs, and that's where I feed on, and I just go and go.
You're all in. You focus all about it, and there you
So,
go for it.
So 2019, towards the end of the season, I had a really good season. I ended up second in the state of Michigan. I ended up second in the state of Indiana. I could shoot at national matches and in the top 10, like very, very good season. And I just felt like this is not going well. And then the world kind of gave me a heads up when COVID happened and the world shut down, because at that point I couldn't shoot. Everything was shut down. You couldn't get ammo. Ammo was ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Then by the time that my studio got to reopen, we were closed 72 days. So by the time that my studio got to reopen, that I could make money again, I had to make money to make up for that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any time to shoot. And it kind of forced me to slow down and forced me away from it. I love shooting. I've shot a couple times, shot a couple matches, but I know that I can't. I know that I can't just go out and have fun. As weird as that sounds. People ask me all the time, like, why don't you just go shoot and have fun? I'm like, because that's not fun. Like, that losing's not fun, right? Like, I'm not that person. I can't go out and just like fuck around and buddy up and just do whatever. Like,
Right.
if I'm not going to go out there and try to win, then this isn't fun. And I know that I can't win unless I'm training at a high level and training to the point that I was. And if I can't do that, then I don't even want to do it.
Right.
That was a weird roundabout to get back to comedy. But that's where comedy comes in. Now I'm full steam ahead on comedy. Luckily, comedy is something that I can write on my own time. I can write in the living room with my family. I write all the time. My phone's constantly on me. I have a joke book with me. I use the microphone app or where I talk to text, and I have a notepad full of stuff that constantly just spewing stuff. So it allows me to still be creative and still have that outlet and still have that like addiction in a safer aspect for my family. I feel like, as weird as that sounds.
Is comedy like a release for you? I mean, to let all this built up energy that you have and this competitive nature that you have, is it like a release for you to get all the stuff out?
I don't know if it's a release as much as it is like a way of like almost self-soothing. I had a pretty rough childhood growing up, and I think I bottled a lot of that up. And comedy, everything in my life, like I always tend to like go with a joke. Like if it's at a bad time or something's going wrong, I'm the guy that's gonna like make someone laugh at a funeral because I don't know what else to do, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to cope with things. So laughter makes me feel better, and making someone else laugh makes me feel better.
Right.
So it's almost like, as weird as this is going to seem, and I love to say weird things, like it's almost like masturbation, right? Like comedy is almost like masturbation. Like it feels good for me, but I also,
but it makes you happy too.
but it
at
makes,
the same
yeah, like
time.
it's this whole
It
thing is
soothes
like,
the other soul.
yeah, it's
you got to. You need to stop that. You went too far with that.
Oh, he was a comedian. He
I've
did stand up.
I've only done it twice.
dude, it's so much fun.
It was really nerve-wracking because you have to make people laugh.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much pressure on me to try to make someone laugh.
Mhm.
I
But
think
my first time I did it, the whole crowd was just going crazy.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, it made me, all right, maybe I could do this again.
Yeah.
But the second time, I bombed.
It happens.
Crickets.
You got to
Crickets.
bomb.
Bombed.
You got to bomb to get better.
we,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
hackled him.
You have to bomb to get better.
Oh man, they did.
Oh,
They
we
did.
did. We
Tell
hackled him
a
good.
better joke.
Oh, that was me.
Was that you? Asshole.
No, man, you should do it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It is nerve-wracking. It really is, to try to figure out how to make people laugh.
Yeah.
But for me, it's that instant gratification of like, it when it happens, right? This isn't like a podcast, right? We have to record this and put it out.
Yeah.
And then at some point maybe in the near future, but at some point in the future, we're going to see feedback on it. Where like comedy is like that instant feedback, instant gratification. If you did good because you're getting it back right now.
Exactly.
And that's a hard thing to wrap your head around. But when you get in that right state, it's there, man. When you get that first laugh, it feels so fucking good that you got to go.
Yeah. Who do you not inspire, but who do you kind of relate to for your comedian, for your jokes?
As for me, I mean, I've loved comedy for a long time. I'm a big John Heffron fan. He's actually another Michigan comic, like Detroit side.
Yeah.
I really like Bert Kreischer. I like guys that are storytellers.
Yeah.
That's my style of comedy,
yeah,
is storytelling. There's something in the aspect of storytelling that just is home for me. It feels so good.
The build up. Yeah.
And being able to like relay something, articulate and relay something beautiful to you that you're going to get something out of it, but you're also going to laugh, you're going to giggle.
Like Fluffy.
Gabriel
like,
Iglesias. Yeah.
He tells his storyline, but he uses his own family and his own lifestyle to go into a joke.
I do too.
Do you use your family all the time?
Almost all my material is family based.
So she still want to be with you?
Barely. Barely. I say some awful things. And I tell stuff that she's probably not stoked about on stage, but it's funny, right? Like, and that's part of it is there are, to get in the weeds, there are different laugh triggers, right? And one of the laugh triggers is embarrassment.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a big laugh factor, is embarrassment.
That's my whole life.
So I want you know what I mean? Like if I tell a story about me, you're going to laugh harder if it's something stupid, right? If I tell you, oh, I just went and shot 3 gun and I won a national title and then whatever, but something kind of funny happened, you're going to be like, oh, okay, whatever, But I'm like, I fell down the stairs with a gun because I thought a robber was in my house. That's fucking fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that,
right.
People connect with that going, oh, look at this dumbass,
I've done that before, but
I really have done that. I got a whole story
really?
about that, a whole bit about that.
You both tripped down the stairs with a gun in your hand?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, you just said you did?
No, I'm saying that's using an example.
Oh, no, I really have. I really fucking fell down the stairs.
Did you?
Loaded gun. Ass over apple cart. Sounded like a sleeping bag full of watermelons just going down the stairs.
Yep.
Now, what places have you performed at? What's the biggest place you performed at?
For a theater, the Wagon Wheel Theater in Warsaw, Indiana, seats about 800 people. It's in the round, so I mean, their seats go all the way around you, which is pretty cool. Performed in Dallas, Texas, at a festival called Obsessed Fest. A couple hundred people there. That was kind of a double-edged sword. We did comedy there and did a room of comedy with about 200 people, but we also did a live podcast that had probably 800 people in that room for the podcast. So I'm not afraid to get on stage in front of people. That's not it. Locally, I perform a lot at the Underground Laugh Lounge in Niles, Michigan. Okay. It's a local comedy club, new comedy club.
Actually, I heard about that place. This place is awesome. I heard.
Super cool.
Yeah,
super cool. It's all owned by one person, but the downstairs is a comedy club. The upstairs is a speakeasy, like bar, like a 20s bar. It's such a cool venue.
I heard they got good drinks.
Really?
Oh, phenomenal.
Now, what days do these? What days do they play? I mean,
so on Thursday nights at the Underground, they have an open mic night. You still have to apply for it. It's not like a general open mic. A lot of open mics are called show up, go up, which means you get to go and if you're there, you put your name on the list, you get to go.
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So the Underground is more of a vetted. You have to kind of apply. They want to put people up that know what know what they're doing, because they kind of promote it as a show. So that's Thursday nights. Friday, Saturday they have a show. Sunday they're open, like the bar part's open. They do some other stuff, but usually weekends. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I should really check that out.
I know, man.
I have friends always ask me to go.
It sounds like fun.
Here's a quick plug. I will be hosting the open mic tomorrow night, Thursday, August 15th. It's $5 to get in. Yep.
Yeah.
$5 to get in. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. There will be. I'll host the show. I'll go up and intro everybody. I'll do like 10 minutes of comedy. There'll be like 8 comics that do 5 minutes a piece, and then a closer will do like 10 to 15. Sometimes the closer is a national comic. So there's a lot of times, I can't always promise this, but there's a lot of times that the weekend headliner will do time on the open mic night. So you can get to see a weekend, like a national headliner for $5.
So how did you get involved? Did you get to go to Dallas? You went from Warsaw, Indiana to Dallas. I mean,
shit just happens, buddy.
Do you just happens. You put your name out there, or do they find you?
So Dallas was a festival that was a true crime festival. So we kind of got lumped in with because of the True Crime, Truth and Justice podcast that I'm part of. And they asked us basically what we wanted to do, and we're like, do you let us do comedy? And they're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So that's how we just kind of fell in there. We're going to we're performing in North Adams, Massachusetts, coming up here shortly, which is it's called the Berkshires Podcast Festival, but we'll be doing comedy there as well. So
when you do these, do you get I know like Tom does his whole thing every
Yeah.
Thursday. Is it like a circuit that you jump into that you just travel from? Would you do something like that, or do you just want to find what you want to do and just go from there?
A little bit of both, so I'm always usually at the underground every Thursday, whether I perform or not. I'm at the underground every Thursday. There's a lot of different places that do open mics. There's a lot of places that do shows. I try to just get on as many as I can. I try to get on as many as I can, but I also try to get on the right shows for me, because sometimes they're just not always right. Like I've had shows where like I just did a show that had a super squeaky clean teacher that opened, and I'm like, I'm the dirtiest comic of the night. Like this is good. You know what I mean? Like it's just not the right. I did it, but it's just like, this is not the right setting for me. So it's kind of finding those right shows. I did a show back in June for a guy named Kevin Lee. He's been on BET's Comic View, tours with Wanda Sykes. He's a comedy magician. And I thought that was going to be really weird because I do traditional comedy. Like I'm a storyteller. Like I go up and do yucks, you know what I mean? And this dude's juggling chainsaws and doing stupid shit. But it went really well because we did have that juxtaposition of styles that people really enjoyed it. But it doesn't always happen that way.
It's all a show. I mean, because you have one stream to another stream to another stream. I mean,
yeah,
I get it.
So I mean, certain comics just have certain aspects. Like the comic this weekend, his name is Dale Jones. Big national tour. He's a big famous TikTok influencer. Very, very funny guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of that like more southern hillbilly comedy, right? Like I'm not. Like I'm a family guy, but I also I joke about being raised biracial. I have a bunch of Tupac references. I have, you know what I mean? Like this is like so it just doesn't, it's not the right audience for that. So you got to kind of find everything that works for you.
Fill out the audience first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is there any audience that were maybe hecklers or anything like that involved?
Don't
worry about that. Happened last week.
What the hell was that? You just shot something at me.
Yeah.
So,
He's done it a couple times. Heckler at you. Bam.
I just got heckled right now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Nothing that pops out. Now, as I say that, it'll probably happen tomorrow or this weekend. I'll probably have a heckler somewhere. But truthfully, I haven't had anybody too bad. You get people that talk, you get people that, but you just kind of got to deal with it. Either shut them down or just ignore them. You do the best you can.
You never had a heckler that you just had to take care of?
I've had hecklers that I've talked to,
Yeah,
but I can usually shut them down. It's all about handling them. It's all about handling the right person. The one that I can think of right off the top of my head was a woman sitting in the front row, and she just kept talking and kept talking. And you could tell that people around her were annoyed.
Yeah.
So now I have free reign to go at this lady, right? Because you can't just go at somebody just to go at somebody, because there is what people don't realize is there's a very us versus them mentality. So there's one comic on stage, but there's a group of people. And if you attack one of those people will side with them. Yeah. Which is a very weird thing to think about. But if you attack somebody in the crowd that's unprovoked, the crowd is not going to be happy because they're one of you. So you almost have to wait for it to get out of, I don't want to say get out of hand, but to a point where you're like, this woman has pissed everybody off around her. Now I can go at her because these people are going to be excited, And
they're going to definitely cheer a lot more.
Yeah. And I was very fortunate that I was able to essentially just shut her down, as far as I literally looked at her and I went, shh, I'm the one supposed to be talking. But I said it like a fake whisper, and everybody got a big giggle, and she was kind of embarrassed. And
so who's that comedian that does all that kind of
the crowd work?
Yeah, the crowd work.
Well, there's a lot of them that do it. Matt Rife is the one that's brought it to the forefront. But there's a lot of comics that do.
The funny thing is, going with him, he does a whole show first, then he hackles a crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever watch his stand-up comedy hour special, he does a whole show. Then after the show is over, then he starts picking on the crowd. But he's known for heckling the crowd. No one really knows he does a whole show before.
Yeah, and that's ruined. Not ruined, but TikTok and Reels. So that's what everybody posts, right? Is they post crowd work because it's this original thing. And now everybody thinks that's what comedy is. So you have a lot of people that come out to comedy that want to talk to you. that you almost have to put a disclaimer out first, like this is not what comedy is. And the reason those people do that is those people have worked for years building material, like Matt Rife. Matt Rife does this amazing crowd work. He's worked for years to build material. You don't want to burn your material by putting it on the internet, because once you put it on there, everybody's seen it, right? So now the joke's no longer funny because everybody's seen the joke.
Yeah.
But this weird crowd work thing is such a weird one-off that's never going to happen again, that they put it out there to create content, to create buzz, to get people to come to their shows. But that's, you know, I mean, that's why people do that. But that's like you just said, Matt does a whole hour before he does any of that.
I never even knew that.
Yeah.
Seriously, a whole hour.
Oh yeah, he does like all the specials. He does a whole hour show.
I've seen a lot of
his
clips. And
the clips. Then he does that heckling at the crowd. He does that after the show is almost done. He just stands up there and starts saying, someone shouts out something. He says, yeah, this.
That, you know, like you said, that's most what you see on the clips, YouTube videos.
But
it's
fucking
crowd work.
But it's a way to for comedians, and it's awesome, right? Because they're getting a ton of feedback. But it's a way for comedians to create content easily that doesn't burn their actual work.
Right.
You know, think of it as a musician, right? A musician's going to write a song and record a song and play a song. They don't want to just put it out there for free. They want you to come see them play, or they want you to buy it. But they still have to create some sort of content to get you to come. So that's the same thing comedians are doing, is they're writing this beautiful piece. Beautiful is probably a weird word to use because it's usually comedy and not beautiful, but they're building this piece that they've really worked at, that they need you to come see because that's where the money is. But they have to get your butt in the seat somehow.
But that's why most of the time with musicians, they play their hit songs last because they keep your ass in the seats, play their new shit, then they hear the song.
Here's a story I just heard. Montel Jordan opens with "This Is How We Do It" and closes with "This Is How We Do It."
Yeah, I heard about that.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. I heard that.
Your best song and then give it to you again.
Yeah.
That no one ever. People are like, "Oh, he's opening with this. This is good. This is gonna be a good show."
Yeah, opens and closes,
and then all of a sudden,
I did not do that.
This is boring now.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you hear it. Oh, this is how we do.
Is there anything else you get into? I mean, besides the shooting, comedy?
Also.
Man, I am a big sports fanatic. I love sports. I coach football. I coach wrestling.
So go with the football thing for a minute. You said, do you coach your kids or do you
I coach rocket football for Bridgman right now.
Rocket football?
Yeah. I've coached there for the last 7 years. I've been coaching football through Bridgman.
How does that go? I mean, I never.
So there's a odd shaped ball that's brown.
Okay, I know what football is.
Okay.
God, I might be stupid. I'm not that stupid. Oh yeah, now you do something. Could have gave you the crickets when you said you had crickets. No, actually, the whole rocket football. Are you teaching the kids how to play?
Yeah, absolutely. Or
do they already know?
So we try very hard to teach fundamentals and to get these kids prepared for moving on. I'm a big proponent of, I want to teach these kids properly. I don't care what records are right now, right? I want to teach these kids how to play football, to wrestle, to play basketball, whatever we're doing. Like when my 13-year-old or my 9-year-old goes out to play a sport, I want them to become the best player they can be. I want them to go through the fundamentals. And it's not just my kids. I mean, I coach a lot of kids. I care for these kids. I want all these kids to become the best players they can be with the fundamentals. Because I don't care if my kids are out there playing what they're supposed to be doing and we get our asses kicked, I don't care as long as they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. Because
I can see it.
Who gives a shit about a rocket football record? Right. I want this kid, any kid that I have, I want any of these kids to have a good senior season. I want all these kids to have, if they can, go on to play college, right? No one gives a shit what my 13-year-old's middle school basketball record is. But if they can play basketball really well and go win a state title his senior year, that's a big fucking deal.
You know, there's parents out there that teach coach rocket football, and they care about that damn record.
Oh, I know.
This guy Terry behind the scenes, he does rocket. Was it rocket football?
You do rocket?
Flag football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gives a fuck about his record.
Wait a minute. Do you care about your record?
I don't care about my record. I want my kids to have fun.
Oh, see, now you're changing your story.
There you go.
Kids are supposed to have fun, learn to work as a team.
Yeah.
Don't change your story. You want the record.
But when they lose, they don't get sprinkled.
No,
You'll sprinkle when you lose.
no, we don't. I don't baby kids. Our whole coaching staff, we try to teach these kids properly, but we don't baby kids. We're not in that fucking woke culture. You don't get a participation award, you know what I mean? But we're trying to work hard. You know, I practiced before this, and I talked to the kids, and I literally, before we left the practice, I said, you know, you guys had a good practice. We're coming back next week, but we have to, everything we do has to be with purpose. We don't do anything out here for just to do it, right? Every single drill you go through is with purpose. And I don't mean because the drill is purposeful. I mean, you have to take the drill and do it with purpose.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get better. And I try to teach my kids, and I have like a lot of the kids I coach are friends of my kids, and they're around all the time. So we talk about these things, and I don't care what it is you're doing. You need to do it with purpose. And that's the only way you're going to survive. And that's the only way you're going to get better. You know, you could do things and be mediocre, but if you really want to like step out, do it with purpose. Make sure you go through every step of whatever it is with purpose.
Proper tackling.
Yeah. Well, it's not even, I mean, obviously I'm talking about sports, but it's not even sports. I mean, it's just every, like, if I tell you to, you know, run 5 yards and sprint 5 yards, I want you to sprint the whole 5 yards.
Discipline.
Don't cut the last inch out.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
James.
discipline. It's getting better.
Give you all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
listen-
You got a
listen-
minute to
listen-
rest.
listen-
You can stand there and rest. I'm not going to make you do something while you're resting.
Right.
But when I tell you to do something, I expect you to do it
100%.
100%.
Maybe even 110%.
And I think that's always something I've taken. Like that's another reason. Like I feel that I excel is I have this stupid drive that is weird, right? So like
That's something that's driven you your whole life.
it has, and that's why like I was able to get to the level I was when I was shooting. That I feel like that's a big part of why I've been able to tattoo the way I've been able to tattoo for as long as I've been able to tattoo. I feel like comedy's going well because I've been able to really like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with purpose. I'm going to go out and try. You talked about you did it and you bombed, right?
Yeah.
I've definitely bombed, but it's there's a point to that, right? You go out and you bomb, and that's not the point is not to bomb. You want it to be funny, but you after you bomb, you have to figure out and deconstruct and analyze why it bombed. What were there too many words? Were the jokes just not funny? Did you do something with your face? You know, there's so many times that even just a pause.
I don't think you
I was just about to say that a pause in your punchline that can damage you right there.
Yeah, just any little thing, and it's taking that and analyzing it, and then going back with purpose to fix it. If you just continue to do the same thing over and over again and it doesn't work, it's guess what? It's not going to fucking work. Like no matter how many times you do it, it's not going to fucking work.
Right.
I feel inspired right now.
So if you go back and you know, if it's like joke, you rewrite it. You know, it could be the same exact joke, but you change some words around. You change the way you deliver it. Maybe you make a facial expression. Maybe you give it a pause. Maybe you give it a longer pause. Maybe you don't. Maybe you take the pause up. Maybe you just snap it right away. But you have to try these things, and you have to go out with a purpose and make sure that you're giving it your all to do it.
Exactly.
I feel inspired right now.
You should, Joe.
I need to go run a mile.
You just ride that damn scooter you have.
Fuck
in the
yeah.
hallway.
I love my scooter. Leave me alone. You always bring it up. Why don't you go bomb on a stage again?
Oh, jeez.
Come out and do comedy with me. I think you'll have a good time.
You know, I'm thinking about trying to do that again.
Fuck yeah, dude. It'd be great.
Yeah, get back on the stage and try it again.
So much fun. So much fun.
Like I said, it was nerve wracking.
Yeah.
I won't hack you this time.
I don't think you would bear that time.
I was
You
both
second
times.
time?
Yeah.
Both times?
Yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch. It probably was you back there. Tell another joke. But yeah, I would love to try to do that again because it's the thrill of being on stage and trying to make somebody laugh, like you said.
Yeah.
My thing is I always want to make everybody laugh.
Oh yeah.
And I want to do it often. And not necessarily all the time, but just sometimes where I just throw something in but I have to write stuff down. Last time I didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
I had no preparation whatsoever. And I just got up there and tried to wing it. And
it's one of the worst things you can do.
You never can do that. I learned the hard way. The first time I had stuff already knew I wanted to talk about and punchlines and things were ready to go. And it worked out perfectly. But
no matter how much comedy you watch and you see those guys and they go up and look effortless, they look like they're winging it. They're not. Those guys have put in hours.
They write it down. They tell the same joke over again. Then they tweak it to it's perfect.
And some people, some people are a little looser. There are comics that like have the joke written and they might tell it a couple different ways, right? And then there are other comics that literally like word for word is written. You know, Jerry Seinfeld is one of those comics. Whether you think he's funny or not, he's a legendary comic.
Yeah.
Everything Jerry Seinfeld's ever told on stage is written word for word, the way it's put out there.
Seriously.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
I would never think about that towards him.
and you wouldn't think about like
Yeah.
exactly. You see those guys, they come up, they're loose, they're just telling a story, they're telling a joke, but there's hours of preparation that goes into that.
See, my favorite comedian was Robin Williams. I swear his older
Mhm.
shit was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was perfect, I thought.
I like the way Dave Chappelle says he has a bowl of punchlines,
Mhm.
and he just pulls
Draws
one
them.
out and makes a joke off of that.
Yeah.
Off the punchline in general. And that's something that's
That'd be
really
kind of cool to see.
yeah. He did it on stage. He pulled something out like kick him in the pussy. something like
Kick
that.
her in the pussy.
Kick her in the pussy. And
It's one of the greatest jokes that I've ever seen told on stage with the dumbest punchline. And the thing that makes it so amazing isn't his writing, right? Is that he drew the punchline that says kick her in the pussy. And he tells you a joke and he gets you so distracted that he says kick her in the pussy. And you laugh because you're so distracted by everything else. But the genius part is he does this to open the show, right? An hour later, his final punchline is kick her in the pussy
and
of the whole show. So
was
by the
brilliant. It was
time that he
brilliant.
gets to the last joke, you don't see it coming, and he says the punchline that you already know is there, it floors you because you like it was there the whole time, sitting in front of your face, and he still got you with
And it
it.
goes along with what you said. You like to tell the story, build the
Mhm.
story up, and get everybody involved. And he did just that. Got everybody involved, and you totally forgot what he was talking about.
See,
Yeah.
Punchline.
If I ever did jokes, it would probably be a story of my whole life, and that's funny already
You sure?
because who I am.
But you have to have something that's going to make people laugh.
Just look
And-
at me.
Damn,
Look, you guys are already laughing.
Good point.
Damn. See, look at that.
Good point, Joe.
I'm here all day.
I should have been interviewing you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to get into before
Man, I don't know. I could talk for hours. I don't know that I have anything else.
no, anything you want to get in as part of your life? Anything you look like something that's interesting for you to jump into?
I'll tell you something that's super interesting that I know I can never do because I don't have the patience is barbecue. It's like smoked meats.
Or just doing it for a living, or
No, just to do it.
Oh, wait a minute.
Just to do it.
Just to do it.
Just to do it. But you
You
see those
become a
guys that
chef?
like
No, because he's done everything else. I mean, he's jumped into everything, shooting and comedy, and
I know it's such a weird thing, but like the idea of like you see those people that like smoke a brisket for like 16 hours. Like I love that idea, and I'm a fat kid. Like I love food.
I can't fish. I
Well,
don't have the
see, I love to
patience.
fish.
I don't have the patience to fish. See,
Fishing's fun.
To answer
Yeah.
your that type of question,
Yeah.
for me, fishing is. I think I'll be pissed. I just wasted 6 hours on the lake or on a boat, and then catch shit.
so
What's the
much-
point?
Well, but
I love fishing, man.
So for you, it's cooking. I would love to
Mhm.
just sit there and.
I
cook.
love to cook. I
No,
love to
no,
cook.
to cook the brisket.
But
and all
the
that.
idea of
Yeah.
like
cooking a brisket.
there's so much science that goes
Yeah.
behind it. Those guys are so incredible. Like the 16 hours, but it's like it's got to cook at this, and then they got to add this, and then change it. And
Yeah. See,
I
would do
love
all-
the
I would do
idea
all
of
that.
it.
the coals and
yeah,
the
man,
wood
I just
going,
couldn't do it.
yeah.
See, I would do that. You can fish. I'll cook for you.
Sounds good. Let's do
What
it.
about you?
Meat.
Also, you know, the brisket is not a fish, right?
I know.
Okay. I said
Meat.
brisket, and he goes, "I hate fishing."
I know. No, yeah, because something that you don't like, I don't like. What do you not like?
Don't.
Yeah, what
don't
you
I
not want to. Yeah,
No, it's something I want to do. I mean,
but no, it's that you don't want to do.
I want a drag race.
I said don't want.
No, this is what I'm telling you. I want to do.
You want a drag race?
That's asking.
What kind of drag
I
race?
don't know. Just something fast. I mean, just I don't know. It's the feel of
I mean, what kind of drag race? Like racing like a muscle car or
Muscle-
drag race like a funny
no,
car?
not a funny car. That's
Have you seen those like driving experiences you can do? There's
Yeah. There's some in Vegas.
yeah, well, I think there's one that travels around here that's like a supercar circuit,
Yeah.
and you pay it. You know, it's expensive, but you get to
Okay,
drive a
right.
supercar like 4 laps around the track or something.
I've seen that in Vegas when I was
Mhm.
in Vegas. You can drive these top-notch sports cars, Lamborghinis, and
Yeah.
around these tracks.
Yeah, they have one that tours like that comes
Terry's
kind
trying
of.
to
It doesn't
show
come
us
super
something.
close, but
Terry's trying to show us a car, I think.
No, man, it's a drone. You can sit in it and fly.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Uh,
That's another thing I wouldn't mind doing. That
What?
I'm afraid of heights, man. No fucking way.
You're afraid of heights?
Fuck yeah, I'm afraid of
Yeah.
heights.
A guy that gets tattoos, shoots guns, everything
Dude,
else. You're afraid of heights?
I'm afraid. I'm terrified of
So
heights.
you don't go on Ferris wheels?
No.
No.
I could do it. I've done it, but it.
This brings up another thing. TJ asked me to tell
Oh
you
God damn it!
this
Whatever
ghost
this is gonna be
this
is bad.
ghost thing that you don't believe in ghosts, and TJ
I don't
does.
believe in ghosts.
You don't believe in ghosts?
No.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Lots of
TJ,
things.
this
but-
is for you, buddy. You
God
asked
damn
me
it,
to do it. I
TJ.
thought you said you don't believe in ghosts. What do you guys? I mean, you guys talk about a lot of shit. In the bar.
Yeah, dude, 14 years.
Like a barber shop.
Barbershop. Jesus. TJ and I are married, basically, right? We're for 14 years we've been 6 feet apart for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. You know what I mean? Like we are a married couple. So we have had every fight, every argument, every discussion, and ghost is the one that we could always come back to. TJ is a big ghost believer.
Yeah,
TJ's
yeah.
always seeing something. TJ's always hearing something, feeling something. I'm like, it's fucking science, dude. Like, there's a reason all this is happening. I'm an idiot, right? I can't tell you the science, but I know that there's
something behind it.
there's something
yeah.
behind it.
If you walk in a room and you get a cold breeze, your hairs stick up or something like that, you don't think there's something around you?
No,
A spirit, a ghost?
no. I
I've
think
never-
that there was
I
a
mean-
breeze that came through the door crack.
I thought I experienced something like that because I was living in this old house, and
Mhm.
I was sleeping in my bed, and I felt something like slither through my sheets.
hmm
Scared the fuck out of me.
Slithered?
Yeah, like a snake.
So here's another like
That's
A
fucking
quick backstory about myself.
Yeah.
My grandfather worked for NASA.
Okay.
Okay, so I grew up like we believed in science. Like we didn't believe in the Bible. Not that there were atheists, not that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, we
but
know what
we-
you mean.
Right.
We believed in science.
Science.
There was a reason things happen. There was a reason this is, so
Yeah.
that's just my life is how I always was. It's like there's an explanation out there for why this thing is happening. Whatever this phenomenon is happening.
Explanation
There's a
behind it.
scientific
Yeah.
explanation for why it's happening.
Okay.
There is.
You believe in ghosts, don't you?
Hell yeah, I believe in ghosts. I believe in ghosts and spirits. Fuck yeah.
Might as well get a fucking van and a dog.
Huh?
It's Shaggy.
Dude, I really
Go
believe in
chase
spirits.
some ghosts.
Did we? So you said NASA.
I
And
didn't
all
say
that.
NASA. NASA's in
No,
the
no,
Bahamas.
I mean, not behind NASA.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll give you shit.
No, I know. So you believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Do you believe?
Do I believe in little green Martians? No. Do I believe that there is
Yeah.
life out there? Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
So do you believe in voodoo?
No.
So you don't believe in voodoo. You don't believe in ghosts. What? I mean,
Joe, do you believe in Santa?
fuck yeah.
Okay.
You dummy. You big dummy.
Hell yeah.
Can't take you anywhere.
No,
man.
I mean,
Hey,
so
hey.
so that's different though, right?
Everybody's Santa Claus.
Let's talk about that for a second. Like foreign life outside of Earth. Like it's
We-
we're so like brought in to be it's like these little green Martians that you see like in
Yeah, I don't
sci-fi.
get that.
That's not what it is, right? But you think that we are the only possible life
exactly.
form
Yeah.
in this thing is ignorant, right?
Yes.
There is something.
very
Yeah.
arrogant
Maybe it doesn't look like us. Maybe it doesn't walk and talk. But there's
life form.
life
Yeah.
forms out there somewhere.
But you don't believe in spirits or ghosts.
No.
That's
What?
weird.
What?
You believe in that, but you don't believe in this.
He already told you.
That is messed up.
so different.
I'm with
That's-
TJ.
that's
I'm with
totally- TJ,
I'm with TJ on that one.
dude, this is
I
for
can't-
you, man.
That makes me want to talk more about it now.
But again, right?
You believe in aliens, but you
The alien life form is science.
yeah.
It's not the whoo, right?
How'd that go?
Whoo. It's science. Like there's a reason this exists. Like they've found another planet. I can't remember the name of the planet because it's like XRY 9117. You know what I mean? Like this weird planet. But it's like they consider it like Earth's twin. Like it's in the Goldilocks zone of a star. It looks like it could possibly have water. You know what I mean? Like they believe that there could be life, but it's so far away. We can't,
Yeah.
can't like take a photo of it and be like, oh, look at there, Steve.
I chalk it up to
Jesus.
arrogance because people, you can believe a man can walk on water
Mhm.
and rise from the dead, but there's no life form outside of this planet right here.
Yeah.
And we're all made in the image of one our creator. I don't know. It's,
I believe
it's a
in it
little
all.
weird.
I believe in it all. So
It's just a little weird to me, man. It's just,
I'm open minded.
I think there's more life out there than we know.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wait, do you believe in
And-
ghosts?
Huh?
Do you believe in ghosts?
If I can't see it, I mean, I have to see it first. It has to be right in front of me, where right there.
Right.
What? You
I-
know, so what,
that's
what
the
was
type
it with
of
the whole
person I
snake
am.
thing?
Huh?
What was with the whole snake?
I don't know. It just
Turns
felt
out there was a snake in his bed.
Maybe it
That's what I was thinking. Was there a
Maybe
snake in your bed?
No, it wasn't. It
Turns
wasn't.
out-
but it felt
Turns
like
out it was his
felt like-
dick.
Yeah, right? It was moving around, man.
Damn, what was that? I don't know. It was a snake. What the hell happened here? I think it was a ghost.
Maybe it was a ghost dick. I don't know. Who knows?
It's the ghost dick.
That's what sleep apnea is. Just
Yeah.
ghost shoving its dick in your mouth.
Oh no, dude. What do you want me to say, man?
That's unbelievable.
Sorry, this got out of hand.
It did.
Took
Well,
a-
I need
It was
more.
going so well. It was going so well. My bad.
We were
That's all
having
right,
fun.
bro.
It's all right. We're
My
having
bad.
fun.
I derailed this.
So
12.
no, he did because he brought up the ghost shit.
No, it's yeah, dude. I brought it up because TJ wanted me to bring it up. He told me to say something about ghosts.
Oh, he just said something. Say something
Yeah,
about
tell
ghosts. So
ask Zach about ghosts, and he hates the conversation because he doesn't believe in it.
nothing about it. God,
No.
this is-
Sorry, sorry, disappointed you, brother.
he was so good.
All right.
I know.
So to go back on subject though, you're a man of a hat, of all tons of hats: football,
Mm-hmm.
comedy, shooting, tattooing.
One just talk football, sports.
Oh yeah, he
does all. He loves
does
it all.
He does all. Yeah, I'll give that. Okay, but is there anything else that you were just bam gun hole and that you really wanted to do?
That I have done or that I
yeah,
want
you
to
have
do?
done. They have done.
I did like apparel for a while. I did shirts. I had a like an apparel line called Broken Key Apparel
Yeah.
that I did for a while.
Is that one of the shirts hanging in your shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I
You did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did those for quite a while. And then I kind of got sidetracked. Life happened. We had a kid that kind of sidetracked some of that. And
That
then
does happen.
I magically got into shooting, and then I really got
So
sidetracked.
when you're shooting, did you do paintballing too?
No.
Real bullets.
Real bullets. Yep. I didn't want to get hit. That shit hurts, man.
Yeah, it does hurt.
I'm trying
Man.
to shoot paper targets.
You ever been
steel
hit with one
targets.
of those things?
Yeah,
That
I
shit
like
hurts.
paintballing.
Oh man, I still have a scar from
You would. You
the dude shot me in the fucking back, man.
was.
No, never did paintball though. I don't know. Something just didn't seem all that appealing to me.
That's kind of fun.
It's fun.
That's kind of fun.
I like it.
So also the thing though is I never took it as like playing war either. Like when I shot, like it was a game, and I was like playing golf.
Yeah.
Like right, playing basketball. This is a game, and I'm trying to be the best at this game that I can be. Now I shot with guys that totally thought they were. We call them tactical Timmies, and they thought they were going to war. And I'm like, dude, you're 400 pounds, and you're not going. They're not calling you. You know, like. But like it was, I shot it. I did it to play a game, and I tried to play the game as best that I could. And I was never into that. Like, I guess that's why I didn't get into paintball, because it was never like,
Oh.
this isn't simulated war. This isn't,
Yeah.
you know, like, no, I'm trying to shoot that target as fast as I can and then get to that one. That's
So
all there is.
as far as the shooting, but what does it take? I mean, as far as training goes, do you have to train weekly, daily, or
I was training probably 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I would shoot probably 1,000 rounds during the week of training, and then I would shoot a tournament every weekend somewhere. It takes a lot, especially I shot 3-gun, so it's exactly what it says. It's 3 guns. It's rifle, pistol, shotgun. So there's a lot of shooting disciplines that are one, like might be pistol. Those are a little easier to shoot. It's not easier to shoot. It's just as hard to shoot, but you only have 1 gun to try to master.
right?
So 3-gun, you're trying to master three different
guns.
firearms. So you have to shoot a lot more, and you have to become proficient, because the things that you might do to shoot a rifle is not the same thing you're going to do to shoot a pistol. It's not going to be the same thing you do to shoot a shotgun.
Now, these targets that you shoot, the practice it's like targets that you go like a maze, not almost like
Yeah.
an obstacle course.
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
much.
Yep. There's a course of fire that's walls and barriers and
Yeah.
everything set up and targets hid, and you go through and shoot them as fast as you can.
Man, that sounds cool.
So it's called neutralizing the target. There's all these targets, and you have to neutralize every target as
sounds
fast
cool
as you
as
can, and you're timed. It is
There's
fun.
something about shooting a gun. It's really, really cool as hell.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and I would love that. I would
you
love
ever
to
shot a
get back
gun
into
before?
it, but I just know that I can't do it. Like I can't just
Can't
go
do
out
it
there.
professionally. Not like you.
If I can't do it at the level that I was doing it at, then I don't want to do it.
Right.
That's a big thing.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah. My biggest, and I've said this, I don't know if I said this on here, but I've definitely said it before. Like, I fucking hate losing. I hate losing. I don't give a fuck about winning. I hate losing. Like, I would rather. What?
So what's your definition of losing? I mean,
No, I don't want you to beat me.
if you're going against someone. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to beat me.
What's your definition of losing?
No, I'm just coming in last place or something.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
But it doesn't make me cheerful,
Right.
to beat you, right? It doesn't make me cheerful to like, oh, I won. Look how good I am. It's
just
more
don't
like
wanna
I don't
lose.
want you
So
to beat me.
You're a sore loser.
I'm not a sore loser. Outward, I am pissed at myself.
Yeah.
I will beat myself up so bad.
So how do you teach that when you teach kids how to play rocket football?
I teach exactly that. Like we don't fucking lose. No.
Terry gives you the thumb
See,
up.
that's right. Me and Terry were on the same page. We were looking at each other. I don't like to lose. I went, how do you teach that to the kids? And you said, I don't care about who wins or loses.
Same thing.
Yeah.
He says, I don't like I don't care about the score. I don't care. I don't like to lose. I mean,
He doesn't like to lose. He teaches
It is different. I know
how
that.
do you
I get it,
grovel?
man.
How do
I
you
get it.
ball that up? Because when I coached my daughter's soccer team,
Mhm.
I always went for the W.
Yeah.
I had my best players lined up, my back ones, not so good.
Mhm.
Or I had this one girl I knew she could throw the ball in so far and everybody else kick it in right away.
Mhm.
I had to win, and I just wasn't the best coach, yes, but
You won.
I fucking won.
Man, my
it's tough.
coaching experience was weird. I coached fifth grade girls basketball, and man, those girls sucked.
Oh yes.
I hope none of them are
Sorry.
watching.
My
No,
son.
not bad, but they weren't taught well.
No, it's almost that age group, right? Like
Yeah.
my son, my 13-year-old is in 8th grade, played 7th grade basketball last year, and it was awful to watch. Right? He's
Bro.
played basketball for a long time, but those kids are like, they're just not like
Yeah.
coordinated enough. They're just not there yet. Like they're still
Still
figuring their bodies
yeah.
out.
You just gotta ball that up and just we're gonna lose.
Oh.
When you're that age, when you're that age, it's like a newborn giraffe.
Mhm. You're
And
just fumbling
trying to
around.
learn how to walk and get around. Well, I guess
I'm
that's all
actually
in there.
picturing that.
Yeah, well, think about it.
That is
You ever
actually,
seen-
yeah, I'm picturing that how you were saying that. Yeah.
Trying to pass the ball and
That's a good-
learn the intricate plays and how to work as a team.
Mhm.
It's I can understand that.
But I think it goes back to I know that I contradicted myself by saying that. Like when I say I'm coaching, that I don't.
Damn, Joe, he called.
No,
him out.
it's fine.
Hell yeah,
I
'cause,
appreciate it.
we
Right?
both did.
This is how we get better. This is
Yeah.
how we all get better. Right? Is you take criticism, you build from it. Right?
I
But I
was
think-
curious.
I think a big part is like for me is I hate to lose. I know that I hate to lose.
I do too.
But I think there's a different aspect of I know that if I'm coaching, I don't care about the score. Right? I also don't want to get blown out. And I also don't want to blow a team out. Right?
Why not?
Because what does it teach anybody?
I know. Me,
Right.
I
So there's a point of like, yes, the score doesn't matter. Yes, I want to win, but I also want these kids to be moving forward in the correct fashion.
do you
Of
guys keep
course.
score for that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you?
But I want kids to be moving forward in the correct fashion.
I think
I would rather us play a really solid game and the kids do all the things correct and we lose than us kick the shit out of a team, but no one played properly.
but it feels good to win.
Right.
Yeah, it feels good to win, but
But
why?
It's the point of the direction, the discipline
Mhm.
behind the whole thing. I totally.
I
get it.
understand. I understand.
I
I'm
get
just
it.
So
being,
I had
I'm just
this-
being a dick, but my thing is I just don't like to lose either.
No one likes to lose.
So
man.
I'm on the board for Bridgman football, and I had a huge argument at a board meeting. I guess argument's not really the right thing. I blew up at a board meeting because Bridgman plays 8-man football. Right.
Yeah.
Hate 8-man football.
Didn't they just go to that though?
They've been playing it for a few years now, but
Okay.
I really dislike 8-man football. They went to 8-man football because they felt that they weren't competitive enough with the schools locally to play 11-man. We didn't have a big enough school. We couldn't play 11-man.
Yeah.
So now, 5 years later, we're blowing teams up. They haven't lost a game in 3 seasons.
Damn.
Bridgman is like on a 34-game win streak for varsity football.
And you coach that?
No,
Oh.
but I'm part of the board and I'm coming up. But
Yeah.
they're on a 34-game win streak for varsity football, but they can't go to state because the school's too big. Because the school is technically too big to play in the playoffs for 8-man football, right? But we're winning every game. We beat the state champ this year. The state champs that won state, we beat them. We kicked the shit out of them, right? But I had this argument at one of the board meetings, as I said, why aren't we going back to 11-man? And like, we aren't competitive. I'm like, we're not fucking competitive now. Like, it just looks different. Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
you're saying we can't run with these schools that are beating us, but now it's okay to go beat teams 70-0? That's not competitive. Like,
That's true. I'll give you that.
you're
I
saying
see
you're
what saying
winning
that. I see
and you're
what saying
making
that.
winning competitive, but we're not competitive now.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, what are you showing these kids? Like, we're not good enough to play with these kids, so let's go beat up the little kids. Some of the schools they play, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but I don't give a fuck at this point. Some of the schools they play are literally like a 3-school co-op to
Yeah.
play 8-man, and they have like 10 kids
Yeah.
with 3 schools combined.
There's a lot of schools that now go into that though. There's a lot of schools that I heard that's going to the 8.
Football's a dying sport. I love football. It's my favorite sport in the world, but football's a dying sport. People don't want their kids
in
playing.
smaller cities. And
It's
small-
dying across the country.
You think so?
Yeah.
Think about the pros. They're changing all the rules.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't
But-
tackle. You
See,
can't-
colleges now, kids are coming. I mean, I think it's in the area of where you live that it's dying.
I think it's all the way around.
I in my opinion, I think it's all the way around. There's schools in Nebraska playing 6-man, and Nebraska's a football state.
6-man?
6-man, which is essentially bonkers. It's essentially like flag football, but
Yeah,
tackle.
that's
I
what
mean,
I'm
there's
trying
like no rule. Like the center is eligible. There's one lineman that's the center, and he's eligible. So the
Yeah.
center snaps the ball and runs downfield
It's
for
like-
a pass.
Co-ed football, flag
Yeah.
football used to play. Yeah.
Yep, it's dying.
Mhm. It's
I
a
don't
dying
think it's dying.
sport.
I don't think it's-
I mean, we saw it this year. Our numbers were depleted. They ended up creating a higher level of flag. So flag for Bridgman was always like basically like 2nd grade and down, and the numbers were so depleted that they started a 3rd and 4th grade flag team, and a bunch of kids came out that weren't signed up to play tackle. They wouldn't play because their parents wouldn't let them play tackle.
But I look at like St. Joe, Lakeshore. Then if you go, because they always dominate
Mm-hmm.
the conference. It's always them facing each other in the playoffs, no matter what. I don't care what people say. It's other teams. No, there's always those 2 teams. Then they go to Grand Rapids area where the kids are about 100 to 200 more people because
Mhm.
they're a bigger city. I think it's just the city that's dying because all these kids want to go play for a bigger school. Then so they come from a Bridgman area because they opened up to an open
Yeah, school choice.
School choice. So these kids are coming from a Bridgman school going to play for Lakeshore or a St. Joe
Yeah.
because they want to play that sport. They
Mhm.
should never open up the school boards to have these kids.
Yeah,
I hate to say it.
but it's different. I mean, you are. I get what you're saying, but you're also comparing a few different things. You know, like I still think even in those bigger schools are like the sport is dying. You just have more kids to pick from, right?
Okay.
Like
okay.
if Bridgman, like the high school has, I think 300 students in the high school total that you're and so 50% of those is boys. You're at 100. I mean, just rough math. So you're at 150 boys that want to play varsity football. Then you got to figure there's kids that aren't eligible. There's kids that are unhealthy. There's kids, you know what I mean? You're just starting to narrow this window down. But then you go to Lakeshore where every class is 300 kids. So now you're at 1,200 kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So you divide that by 2, you're at 600 boys. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you just have a bigger
Oh, I
pool
see
to
what
pick
you're
from.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help. What I know, Bridgman School is a great school to go to. I'm not going to just counter that. But their high school doesn't start till what, 10th grade?
9th.
9th grade?
Mhm.
Is it 9th?
Yep.
I know it's something like where their elementary are.
Their elementary stops at 4th. They go through
Okay,
4th. Their
see,
middle
that's-
school's 5th,
okay,
6th,
that's it.
7th, 8th,
Okay.
and then
So
high
do
schools.
do they have so they let the younger kids play that are in that middle school?
They play at middle school. There's a middle school team.
So they have a
Mhm.
like what is it? What did you just say? How far it goes? Fifth grade?
Fifth to eighth grade.
So does fifth graders get to play?
No.
Oh.
So seventh and eighth grade play football.
Uh,
Most sports are seventh and eighth grade in middle school. They opened up some sports to sixth graders. They opened up more non-contact sports to sixth graders. Just
Okay.
and then you almost, I don't want to say you have to, but you can't allow kids more than that. My son played soccer in sixth grade. You could play on the middle school team, and you could, from him playing as a sixth grader to watching the eighth graders, you're like, there's a child out there running around with grown men, because children hit puberty during that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'll go into this question. So if your son plays football and he wants to go to a Lakeshore or St. Joe, would you let him?
Absolutely.
Or would you make him go?
Well, so I don't know that
stick
we
with
would just
Bridgman?
let him based on him wanting to. My wife and I have actually had several discussions about this. If we feel that it's the best decision for him, we will 100% move him. We know this is going to sound, again, weird, egotistical maybe. My two kids are vastly different when it comes to athletics. My oldest, I love dearly. He's not a very athletic kid.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Not just not an athletic kid.
Right.
He tries really hard. He loves sports, and that's all I can ask for. Right. With him, we go out, we do the best that we can do, and we try hard. My youngest is an absolute stud. Everybody knows this kid. Everybody sees what he can do.
Yeah.
So we've had that discussion. We're like, a school like Bridgman for my oldest makes sense because he's going to get playing time. He's going to get to play.
Exactly.
If he went to a school like Lakeshore, St. Joe, he disappears. Right. But then if you have a kid that's like my youngest, or there's a couple other of his buddies that are really big studs, that if they start going through Bridgman, do you want to be the big fish in a small pond, or do you want to go to a bigger pond? So it's not necessarily if he wants to go, it's if we
Better
come to the
competition.
conclusion that it's the right choice.
Give you that. I like that.
And that happens a lot. I
It
mean,
does.
it truthfully
That's the
happens a
sad
lot. You see that Lakeshore Wrestling is big on that. I don't think Lakeshore Wrestling has this huge history of wrestling, and they're a phenomenal wrestling school. And if you actually go look at a lot of times their wrestlers, they're not from the area.
No.
Aaron Lucio, who was, just incredible. He graduated last year, wrestles for Grand Valley now. Incredible. He's like a 2-time state champion. He ended up losing in the the state finals his senior year. So he's state runner up, but it was the only match he lost all season. He was from Dowagiac, but he came to wrestle at Lakeshore because Lakeshore has a program. So kids are choosing to do that.
I
got that option now.
My thing is, I don't think it's fair. My eyes, I don't think because if you want to live in that city,
Well, it's almost like any kid from the public school going to a private school.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And Chris Webber did it, and they do it in Detroit all the time.
Mm-hmm. So when I was going through high school, and we're all about the same age, so you guys might know this, but when I was going through high school, there's a school here, Lake Michigan Catholic, right? Yeah. So when we were going through school, they were able to offer. There wasn't school of choice, first of all, and they were one of the few schools that you can school of choice / offer, and they would offer tuition to kids. People don't know this, but like in high school,
I didn't know that.
they could offer tuition. Like you had to pay tuition, but they could just offer you tuition, right? Wow. So if you ever looked, there was a ton of athletes coming out of Benton Harbor. Every year we played them, because we had to play them. Every year they had some crazy stud running back from Benton Harbor.
Yep.
Because they got a good education, they were able to come over and play. And then once school of choice opened up, like LMC is barely open now. Because all those athletes have gone other places.
Or even like Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor, all the kids are going to another school because it's got a better program.
Yep. And better education.
When they open that floodgate, every kid wants to go somewhere different because of the sport. Then after that sport's done, they want to go somewhere else.
No, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I don't see anything wrong. Especially if they're trying to build a career for themselves.
Trying to get out of bad neighborhoods. Benton Harbor, I particularly think Benton Harbor kids are leaving that neighborhood because it's such a bad area, and they want to go somewhere where they can actually learn and maybe make them go to a better college.
Oh, that school is awesome if it has the right ability.
So my sister taught at Benton Harbor for a few years, and she taught there during COVID, and she specifically said during COVID that she thought that those kids actually got some of the best experiences of their life because they weren't in school, because they weren't in the building. Like, I think that was a big deal.
Right, go ahead, Derek.
Go ahead. Our sound guy always has to have the bathroom.
Yeah, like 2 cans of beer back there.
The funny thing is, our last sound guy had to go to the bathroom during the show. It is actually past when we usually.
My bad.
That's all right.
I just talk forever.
We'll just wait till he gets back so he can turn it off.
No, I talk forever.
We're just having fun.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
But yeah, we're talking about everything. I just get heated when I hear about school choice. It just drives me up a wall.
Man, I don't know. I see the benefits of it.
I see the benefits of it too, because I see all
Listen,
aspects of it. But
listen, I
just
was
don't think it's fair.
technically a school choice kid. We just lied is all we did because it was before school choice. My mom lives in my parents are divorced. My mom lives about a block from here.
Yeah.
Like my mom lives
Yeah.
on Church Street.
Yeah.
My dad lives in Sawyer, and I went to Bridgman. Like,
So
in
you went to
between.
Bridgman and your kids go to Bridgman? That's
yeah.
awesome.
We moved back to go to Bridgman for my kids to go to Bridgman, but
Really?
but we just lied. We put my grandparents' address because they lived in Bridgman because my parents wanted me to go to Bridgman. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's always been there. They just figure out options.
So to go back onto our whole conversation, I just thought of this question. You brought it up earlier, but how does your wife handle you shooting,
She's
comedy,
a fucking saint.
She
and
just
all
said
this
that.
stuff? How does she just tolerate it? I mean, how is her personality with all this that you do in your own life?
I think it's truthfully, she is an absolute saint. I do think it wears on her. I know that it does. Like
I don't
I
think it
know
wear on anybody. If she did it, you would wear it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that I'm a lot, but I also think that she sees that I'm doing positive with what I'm doing. She comes from a bad household and an addictive household. Her brother's in and out of prison, and I think that's. I think she sees a lot of that. There's a lot of this, like he's doing something positive with these feelings that he has, these problems that he has. You know, I say problems, but I know, again, like I said, I know that I have an addictive personality. Like it would be horrible. Like, but I'm trying to transition into doing positive things. And I think that's the way she looks at it. And I also think now, you know, maybe it wasn't always this way, but once we had kids, you know, she's said it to me multiple times, and it doesn't always register, but I try to think about it when she says it. She's like, you're the dad that I always wanted for my kids, and you're the dad that I always wish that I had.
Oh,
And
man.
it's
That's special
Damn.
right there, brother.
and I'm
That's
trying
special. I like
to,
that.
you know,
Damn.
I think she sees it, and I agree that I try to lead by example. I'm not just doing things to do them, you know what I mean? Like I do them for me, but I also like I want to make sure that like my boys understand that like if you work hard, you can accomplish it.
I think it also helps that when because you said it before, when you finally realize that's affecting something in the household,
Mhm.
you just something happens, and if it's from something from outside,
Yeah.
like 2020 and stuff like that, COVID, but you realize in your own head, in your body, I need to slow down.
Yeah.
I need to stop because this is hurting something else.
Mhm.
Like there's a force
There is.
that's stopping you
Mhm.
to make it.
2020 was awful. The shutdown was awful.
Oh yeah, it was
right.
It was awful.
I said it before. We were shut down 72 days. That was horrible. It's probably one of the best moments of my life because I learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned how much I was missing at home. I was gone a lot. I was, you know, between shooting, between tattooing. I changed all my tattooing hours. I realized I was seeing my children about a half hour a day. I would see them. I would get them up, get them ready for school. A lot of times I'd get home, they'd be in bed, or I'd
Right.
get to see them for a few
Yeah.
minutes before they went to bed. And being home with them every day made me realize how much I was missing of life, you know,
That's
and
awesome
just
feeling, isn't it?
So
It's
that
awesome feeling
give
that
a
you
chance
see
to
them every
regroup
morning.
and
Yeah.
recalibrate.
so that's a big thing of kind of, you know, 2020 was a big moment to change my life and perspective, I guess.
Good for you.
You know, I stopped shooting. Twofold. I mean, it was hard to shoot, but at the same
Yeah.
point, like I understood what was happening. And then, you know, I came out of that realizing that I needed to spend time with my children. I need to spend time with my wife. I need to see these things. And again, like the comedy, you know, is picked up and I'm doing a lot, but I also can do a lot of that in-house.
Yeah.
But she can also go
be
with
around.
you.
And she can go with me, and
She
she
can
has
go
a good
with you, yeah.
time. And, you know, she's pretty over hearing me tell the same jokes, you know, because you work on the same jokes for months and months and months before, you know, so she's pretty over that. But
God,
Tell a
stop telling
better
that one.
joke.
yeah, my wife
Stop
is
telling that one.
as absolutely my biggest supporter. She's my biggest
Good
cheerleader.
deal.
She's my
That's
biggest
awesome.
fan.
Oh yeah.
She's my rock, man. I say it a lot, but she's like the calm to my chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that I'm a fucking maniac, and she's the one that kind of holds everything. You know, it's kind of silly to say like, oh, you're the glue that holds everything together, but I
Well,
mean that
she
she
is.
truthfully is. Like, We do well, but like in our life, we have things that I have no idea. Like I'd be fucking living out of the back of my car if it was on me right now because I don't understand anything. Like
How long have you guys been together?
20 years.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. We started dating 2004 and we got married in 2009. So we've been together 20 years, married 15.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, we got the 2-minute mark.
All right.
I'm gonna break this down. So, got any places you want to let people know you're gonna be? Comedy or?
Yeah, I mean, you can always find me at Conception Gallery, downtown St. Joe. You can find me all over any social media by Zaq Weaver, ZAQ Weaver. You can find me on Instagram, Z2TheQ, ZTOTHEQ. As far as my comedy, August 15th, Thursday, I'll be at the Underground Laugh Lounge hosting. Saturday, August 17th, I will be it's called the Lang Lab in South Bend. It's for Fringe Fest. It's going to be a really cool, it's a comedy thing, but there's improv teams, there's burlesque dancers, there's music, there's stand-up comedy. That's Saturday in South Bend, Fringe Fest. Let's see, August 31st, I will be at the Livery in Benton Harbor on a showcase.
Ooh, that's good. Place.
And then we'll wrap it there.
All
I
right.
could keep going, but those are the close ones.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We are 9:30 almost right now.
That is-
Joe, thank you once again for helping me out.
Always.
I want to thank my friend Terry Goodman behind the scenes.
Terry,
Appreciate it, brother.
hold it like a camel.
And our special guest, Zaq Weaver. Thanks for showing up today, brother. I appreciate it very much. It was a pleasure and an honor.
I appreciate you guys
What?
having me here.
What?
Thank you so much.
No final
No
thought.
problem. All right. We're going to close this out. Join us again next week, guys. 8 o'clock. Third Eye Truth Theorem Podcast.